Santiago Canyon College is an innovative learning community in Orange, California, with more than 260 certificate and degree programs. Santiago Canyon College is a proud sponsor of community programming and OC World.
OC World is made possible by the generous contributions of Marisla Foundation, Keith and Judy Swain Family Foundation, Wells Fargo Bank, the University of California, Irvine, Orange County Community Foundation, Farmers and Merchants Bank, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Vẫn còn ở đây em đi phone chị Đào.
Tôi mới gặp là hôm qua đó con đi đến nhà hàng Anderson đó, thành ra con tìm hiểu.
They heard that there's a first Vietnamese family in southern Arizona here, and they came and wanted to greet us, and they brought what they knew we would love, and so they're just being reunited. I just discovered her last night and talked to her on the phone. It was a chance. Not knowing anything about her, I was at a Vietnamese restaurant. She started telling him my story, and then she said, "Oh, I have an aunt that's lived here a while." And I said, "Is your aunt this name?" So we called it was her. My name is Ted Nguyen. So my story started back in 1975. We escaped my hometown, my birthplace of Nha Trang, Vietnam, the central coast of Vietnam. The communists were taking over parts of the country, and so we fled. My mom fled along with my baby brother and my younger brother, who was only 4 at that time. I was only 6 years old. My father, his name is Nguyen Duc Niem. He was a proud naval officer in the South Vietnamese Navy. He proudly served his country, and during the Vietnam War, he fought on the side of the Americans in fighting for freedom against the communists. And so when the communists started taking over the country, he had no choice but to abandon his country. He did not want to. He did not want to leave his family, his home, his country, and flee to an existence that he didn't know anything about. But my mother said, "You have to leave, you have to flee. If you don't flee, they're going to kill you. The communists will imprison you at best, and at worst, they will kill you." So that proud naval officer had to abandon everything, give up everything, and give up hope in Vietnam, and had to have new hope in America. And so that's what he did. He put his family first, and we fled as a family to the United States of America.
Yeah, you go this way.
Going in.
Yes.
Ciao. Ciao, Paul.
Hi.
This is my mom.
Oh, yours is mother.
Yeah, this is.
Ba món rồi.
Mạnh giỏi, dạ, mạnh giỏi.
Tốt lắm.
Ông cũng vẫn còn nói tiếng Việt Nam được hả? Wow, he speaks Vietnamese a little bit still.
Một chút.
A little bit.
Con nói một chút.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure seeing you, sir.
Pleasure to see you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have to give you a hug.
Yeah, okay.
After all these years.
I love you.
We got our start in America thanks to the Sierra Lutheran Church and Lieutenant Colonel James Banky and Charlotte Banky, along with their 2 kids. It was Michael, who was only 4 years old at that time, and Michelle, who was only 1 year old. Because their family, they showed us love They showed us kindness. They showed us an example of being a good family. And so we exemplified that to this day. They did everything for us. They showed us how to do the simplest thing, such as turning on television. They showed us how to use an electric range, which we never had seen before. They showed us how to use the oven. We didn't have ovens in Vietnam. So I remember my mom trying to learn how to bake for the first time. And Miss Charlotte, was there and would show her how to do all these different things. And the best thing that they also did was they provided my family the keys to our new home. So I remember just being here like maybe 3-4 weeks of being in Sierra Vista. My sponsoring family, they handed over the keys to my mom and dad and said, "These are keys to your new home. Congratulations. You have monthly mortgage payments that you have to make. Now you're an American."
I didn't drive in Vietnam. I had a Jeep driver.
Yes, you had your own driver.
But of course, we didn't need one in the jungle.
He's got a great sense of humor.
I don't know where you stayed for a few days, but I think we got that house pretty fast.
Yeah, because I remember like staying in apartments
Oh,
for like
okay.
maybe a couple days. Oh, my mom wanted to know, like, did you sell for a loss or a profit on that house?
A small profit.
A profit, Lloyd.
I feel like money.
She thinks you lost money on it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't lose it.
No, come go.
I get so long time.
Then did you also work in Europe as a pastor?
Yeah.
Where in Europe?
Well, kind of all over. I was stationed in Frankfurt. I had a church in Frankfurt.
Okay.
And then wherever they needed communion, baptism, or church service, I would go there. I went to Italy, Belgium, Paris once.
How many?
Rome. Great job. I mean,
How
best
many?
job a pastor could ever have.
So this is the neighborhood.
Yeah, now
Is
this is Brown.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think it's
I forgot. Long
Not
time.
bad.
not this one. It didn't have lattice.
Nhập quán quá hả?
Kind of
No,
faced.
Nhà trước.
I didn't get emotional till I saw the house,
I think it's this one.
because I hadn't been by the house for years. In fact, maybe 50 years, I went ahead and bought that house. And then I told Ted's father that he had to make the monthly payments, not me. And I said, if you live in that house long enough and keep making those payments, you'll own the house and it'll be yours.
My father needed to obviously make ends meet, right? And now he had a mortgage payment. So our sponsoring family, the church, found a job for my father as a house painter. So he would have, it was actually not just a house painter, but he had commercial jobs. So he would go with other painters and do commercial jobs throughout that county and in Tucson. But in addition to that, he wanted to also make extra money. So he'd walk door to door throughout the neighborhoods of Sierra Vista in the hot summer heat and ask people if they wanted him to paint their homes. My mother stayed at home and took care of us, but then also asked to get scraps of clothes or worn jeans or shirts that needed to be hemmed or sewn or patched. And so that's what she did. Just the church members would donate, the different clothes, and they would pay her to sew clothing or to mend used clothes or to alter pants, skirts, dresses. And so that was one of her favorite items as a gift that she got from our sponsoring family was a sewing machine. So she put it to good use and helped us, and along with my dad's paintbrushes, we were able to start our new lives in America. My father had an opportunity to go on an excursion with some of the other military people, but he decided to stay because, to help my mom because my younger brothers and I were so little. But I remember his comrades came back and explained to us what they saw. And they went to Orange County, and they said that they took a bus ride to Orange County to see what it was like. And they came back and described it. They described how beautiful the city was. They don't remember what the city was called, but they remember it was called Orange County. They came there and they said, this is so beautiful. The streets are beautiful. The lawns are beautiful. There are flowers, there are plants. And the weather, it's cold to us, but for them, they're wearing shorts. Can you believe that? We were like aghast, like they're wearing shorts when it's this cold. And they saw the ocean. They described the ocean to us. They said, it looks like Nha Trang, Vietnam, where I'm from. And now, years later, as I remember that story, how they're describing that beach, so they had cliffs, there's mountains nearby, and narrow beaches. So I just can imagine that they were in Laguna Beach, which was just miles away from my hometown now of Laguna Niguel.
What really started the whole thing is he was on The Price is Right.
Here it comes from the Bob Barker studio at CBS in Hollywood. It's The Price is Right.
And on that program, he was a contestant.
I was the first one that they announced, Ted Nguyen, come on down.
Ted Nguyen, come on down.
There's a segment in The Price is Right, you spin the big wheel. And during that time, you could say hello to people.
You want to say hi?
Yeah, I want to say hi to my mom who's here, Wayne, Viet Vinh, and my American sponsors, Lieutenant Colonel James Bankey family for bringing us to America from Vietnam. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Amy.
On this day.
Right over there.
Thank you.
Come on over here, Joe.
And if you can believe it, he saw that episode with his wife in Sierra Vista, of all places. And so that created opportunity to reunite. So today, 49 years later, and thanks to the patience of the Southern Arizona community, I am here, and we were the first Vietnamese family to arrive in Southern Arizona as refugees that were evacuated among 130,000 other refugees that were evacuated and resettled throughout America. We're really fortunate to be the first family in Southern Arizona to be here, and it's thanks to the goodness of the church as well as to your family, Mr. Bankey, that you brought us here, provided us with shelter, and more importantly, provided us with hope. Hope that we can rebuild our lives here in America, and hope to give a six-year-old boy at that time who was clutching his teddy bear at the Tucson airport. And I've got photos of that I always remember. So I had a teddy bear, my brother Viet had a teddy bear, as represented by the two teddy bears here. And so I was thinking of some way of saying thank you. And there's no way to fully say thank you, but to be here and to be good examples of Americans that have contributed and given back to the country that embraced them. So to all communities of faith, to the military, to families like yourself, Mr. Bankey, we're in the beautiful Southern Arizona sun. And with that, I wanted to share with you, Pastor, and with you, Mr. Bankey, my deep appreciation. So I have these teddy bears that represents my first American journey here. And that's the reason why my name is Ted, is because of the teddy bears. So on behalf of the 130,000 Vietnamese refugees, two simple words, thank you. And God bless you all. Thank you.
rất là mừng, cô rất là vui. Cô cảm ơn ông nhiều lắm, ông rất là tốt đối với family gia đình của cô. Cô qua Utah là ba của thằng Tết mất đó, là cô mất liên lạc với ông. Cô rất là vui. Ba đứa con cô là ông xã cô mất qua có 8 năm rồi, mất cô đi làm, cô ráng cô nuôi mấy đứa nhỏ.
I really love Vietnam. I love the Vietnamese people, very gentle people. And it's just when I found out that this church was going to sponsor him, and I was a member here then, it was a natural that I work with him, you know, on behalf of the congregation. So that's what and it worked out quite well. We got along great.
We made that connection. So that was in April. And fast forward to August 11th, that same month that we arrived in Sierra Vista, Arizona, we made our long anticipated reunion. 49 years in the making to come to Sierra Vista, to attend worship service with our brothers and sisters and those families, and sponsor Benki and his family at Sierra Evangelical Lutheran Church to say thank you with deep gratitude. We're so thankful. We're so indebted to you for opening your hearts and welcoming this young refugee family to America.
No, I don't think.
Vậy hả? Không, cái cây gì? Cái cây gì?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Recording? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now what do we do?
I don't know.
We were talking in the other room about sort of your journey to the United States, right? Are you comfortable telling me a little bit about, you know, your family back then and living on the boat and how you came to the U.S.?
Well, after the falls of Saigon in 1979, we didn't leave the country, or we tried to leave the country many times, but we couldn't success. So we left in 1979, and we kind of spread around, and John and I and one of my sisters left with my parents, and we came to Thailand. And my other brother, who also working with us, Joe, he left and went to Malaysia. And my other two brother and sister, oldest with their children at the time, they left and they came to Indonesia. So that's how we start our journey and to come to the United States.
When you were trying to leave the country to come to the United States, you were showing me some photos of yourself at 16 years old.
Yes.
Living in a refugee camp.
Yeah.
And living on a boat. Can you describe for me that environment, and as a 16-year-old girl, what were you emotionally, you know, going through at that time?
I think at that time, as a young kids, you know, we all think we didn't really have a fear. We only have hope. So we know that it's not like an adventure, fun trip. It's a lot of fear for being caught and so on. But at the same time, the hope building that we never really look back and be afraid of, you know, to where we've been. But coming to the refugee camp, it was open our eye to different world, right? And so that's how we start our life together. We didn't even have a house or a place to live, so we built a hut. And there was an abandoned boat on the beach, and there's 18 of us live in that boat. And so it's quite a interesting lifestyle. We have no running water. We have a little bit electricity, so everything have to be carried to the site to live, and we cook with woods and stuff like that.
So at 16, it's interesting to me that you didn't have fear, you had hope.
Yeah.
I like that. And where did the hope come from?
I think it's come from being live in a communist country for 4 years, and we can see that there's no future, right? And so, and we think that to come to this country, especially United States, that's a hope that you can have a better life, and also, you know, have a chance to improve yourself and learn new things in your life. That's what I'm thinking. And so that's, as a kid, I think that's something that we all want to do, something new, something that we'll be able to do with our life.
One of the questions we get asked a lot, media, you know, and it's a changing media landscape. We've talked about this before, right? Do you see the changing media landscape currently in your current model? Are you pushing more social media and the YouTube channel now? And how is that influencing your whole sort of business model?
For us, is the distribution platform is very important, but also the content is very important. So now currently we're working the contents that can be bilingual, so, or subtitle, because we know that if we don't do that, the younger generation will not fall back to our culture and keep them in our community, because they are of course the future of our community. So if you don't serve them as well, then, you know, we're missing a point here to do this business, right? To keep the community together.
I don't know if there's an example of this across the country. Maybe there is. You know, that a local, two local, you know, you're a TV station, we're a production company that broadcasts on PBS, right? But we're collaborating now on a story about a gentleman who came from Saigon to Orange County, and sort of his sponsorship in Arizona, and we're going to broadcast this on both our channels, if you will. I'm assuming that because a lot of it's in Vietnamese, we're going to broadcast it both in Vietnamese and English, or both, however that works. How do you feel about the idea of working together on a collaborative program like the one we're currently doing?
I always, it's one of my dreams to do it, because I always think that being a small media like us, we don't have enough resources. Of course, we have to, you know, subscribe for news come from AP or CNN way back then to do our regular news and with copyright. I always think that all the major news station like ABC, NBC, and Fox, or whoever, or even PBS that you're working with, should sponsor ethnic media and collaborative, because without their help, we not deliver the message to the community quickly. Think about when we have breaking news for us, we have to scramble around to try to find a source so we can set it up and broadcast and having translate and deliver to the community. It is almost like a headache for us. But collaborative with another major news, like even local news like us, I think is very important, because together we can work more efficient and serve the community and the public better in a way.
Yeah, I agree on that. And I know that, you know, Ty's here, you know, behind the camera over here, and he traveled out to Arizona with your brother, John, and they did a co-production out there. And we found that it's really interesting, because we're working with your group that we've never worked with before. We're assuming that, you know, we're reaching different markets that we haven't reached before, and perhaps vice versa for yourself, right? Through OC World. And we see a lot of value in creating those sorts of collaborations. And by the way, thank you so much for agreeing to it, because you didn't have to, right? But I think it's worked out pretty well so far. Looking back when you were 16 years old, living in the boat, in the refugee camp, and imagining hopeful life for yourself, And now imagining or seeing where you've come today at this TV station, Little Saigon TV, the influence you're having in the community and the value you're bringing back to the community. When you think about that journey, how do you process that?
I think for me, I never stop of just stay where I'm at, because I think every day is a learning curve. And I feel happiness when I can accomplish something that I thought I'd be able to do or somebody else can do. I like challenges. So I think that going back to where I came from, I'm so proud for our family, because I have two brothers working in this station, that we be able to contribute and give back to the community what we can do. But I also very proud that hopefully using what I'm working on to bring the voice of the community to the public, especially in the United States. Especially, we're working on the 50th year anniversary of Vietnamese America next year. So we're working on something, what we can do, a big bang to celebrate and also to thank America. That's why we're here today, right? So that is a challenge, but I think that we will get something done, because we done that before. We done that with the 35th anniversary at the USS Midway. We didn't get finished for the 40th anniversary, but I think now is another big mark for 50th anniversary. I think we will help the community to bring all the voice together, not just in Southern California. I'm hoping to get all around the country to cooperate with us and to be proud to, as a Vietnamese American, and also to, like I say, I want this next year event like a thank you to America, and also that to teach the younger generation that they can do the same. They can contribute back to this country.